Ever heard of a war that nearly redrew the map of an entire region? A conflict so intense it brought in global powers and left a legacy that echoes to this day? Today, we're diving deep into one of history's most dramatic sagas, the Ethiopian Adal War, a monumental clash of empires. This is the story of Imam Ahmed ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, better known as Ahmed Gurey or the Left-Handed, and his seemingly unstoppable conquest of Ethiopia. Our story begins in the early 16th century, in the Horn of Africa. For centuries, two major powers dominated the landscape: the Christian Ethiopian Empire, an ancient kingdom nestled in the highlands, and the various Muslim sultanates along the coast, most prominently the Adal Sultanate. For a long time, these two powers were locked in a cycle of raids and counter-raids, a rivalry fueled by religion, trade routes, and territory. The Ethiopians, with their formidable mountain fortresses, usually held the upper hand. But the balance of power was about to shift dramatically. Enter Ahmed ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi. Born around 1506 in the region of Harar, part of the Adal Sultanate, Ahmed was a charismatic and brilliant military strategist. He saw the disunity among the Muslim sultanates and believed that a united front, fueled by fervent religious zeal, could finally overcome the mighty Ethiopian Empire. He wasn't just a warrior, he was a unifier. He deposed the traditional ruling dynasty of Adal and took control, rallying diverse Somali, Afar, and Harari clans under a single banner of jihad. His followers gave him the nickname Guri in Somali or Gragn in Amharic, both meaning the left-handed. This wasn't just a nickname, it was a symbol of his unique and formidable nature. What truly gave Imam Ahmed his edge, however, was technology. While the Ethiopian army relied on traditional weapons and massed infantry, Ahmed's forces were among the first in the region to effectively use firearms. Through its connections to the wider Islamic world, particularly the Ottoman Empire, the Adal Sultanate acquired matchlock muskets and even cannons. This was a game changer. An Adal soldier with a musket could now take down a mounted Ethiopian nobleman from a distance, completely disrupting traditional battlefield tactics. In 1529, the invasion began. The Battle of Shine.Africa was the first major test. The Ethiopian Emperor, Lebna Dengel, was confident. His army was massive, far outnumbering Ahmed's forces. But he underestimated the devastating power of the new weaponry. The noise, smoke, and sheer lethality of the Adal firearms threw the Ethiopian army into chaos. The result was a stunning victory for Imam Ahmed. It wasn't just a battle won, it was a psychological blow that shattered the myth of Ethiopian invincibility. Over the next decade, what followed was a whirlwind of conquest. Ahmed's army, disciplined and highly motivated, swept through the Ethiopian highlands like a storm. They pushed north, capturing province after province, burning churches and monasteries, and seizing immense wealth. The ancient Christian kingdom was brought to its knees. Emperor Lebna Dengel became a fugitive in his own land, constantly on the run, hiding in remote mountains and monasteries. By 1540, about three-quarters of the Ethiopian Empire was under Adal's control. It seemed as if the centuries-old Christian kingdom was on the verge of complete collapse. Desperate, Emperor Lebna Dengel sent out a plea for help to his fellow Christians in Europe. The message reached Portugal, a major naval power at the time with its own interests in the Indian Ocean and a rivalry with the Ottoman Empire. The Portuguese responded. In 1541, a fleet carrying 400 well-armed musketeers, led by a man named Cristóvão da Gama, the son of the famous explorer Vasco da Gama, landed at Massawa on the Red Sea coast. The arrival of the Portuguese expeditionary force marked a new phase in the war. Now, it was a proxy conflict between two global powers, the Ottoman Empire supporting Adal and Portugal backing Ethiopia. The Portuguese musketeers, with their superior training and weaponry, initially scored some impressive victories against much larger Adal forces. They were a beacon of hope for the beleaguered Ethiopians. However, Imam Ahmed was not one to be easily defeated. He regrouped and sought more direct support from his Ottoman allies. They sent him reinforcements, a contingent of 900 elite musketeers and several cannons. The tide turned again. At the Battle of Wafla in August 1542, Imam Ahmed's reinforced army confronted the combined Ethiopian-Portuguese force. Cristovo da Gama was wounded, captured, and executed. Most of his Portuguese soldiers were killed. It was a crushing defeat, and it seemed that all hope was lost once more. But the story doesn't end there. The surviving Portuguese soldiers, about 150 of them, regrouped with the new Ethiopian emperor, Gelawdus, the son of Lebna Dengel. Unlike his father, Gelawdus was a skilled and determined military leader. He learned from past mistakes and rallied the remaining Ethiopian forces. The surviving Portuguese taught the Ethiopians how to better use firearms, creating a more modern and effective fighting force. The final, decisive confrontation came on February 21, 1543, at the Battle of Waina Daga. Emperor Gelawdus led his rejuvenated army into battle. This time, the tables were turned. In the heat of the fight, Imam Ahmed Gurey, who always led from the front, was spotted and shot by a Portuguese musketeer. The death of their charismatic leader instantly shattered the morale of the Adal army. Without their imam, the unified force disintegrated. The army that had conquered an empire broke and fled. The war was over. The Adal Sultanate, deprived of its leader and exhausted by years of conflict, collapsed into infighting and never regained its former power. The Ethiopian Empire, though victorious, was devastated. It had lost countless lives, ancient monasteries and texts were destroyed, and the country was economically ruined. The war left deep scars on both sides, hardening religious identities and creating a legacy of mistrust that would last for centuries. The Ethiopian Adal War was more than just a regional conflict. It was a clash of technology, a struggle of faith, and a pivotal moment that drew the Horn of Africa into the arena of global politics. The story of Imam Ahmed Gurey is a powerful testament to how a single, visionary leader can change the course of history, and how the introduction of new technology can upend empires. It's a complex, dramatic, and fascinating chapter of world history that deserves to be remembered. What do you think? How might history have been different if Imam Ahmed had won that final battle? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.